Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shati from the Chicago camp coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And I was just meditating on a lot of brothers' videos. And what's been going on in the alternative media as far as it pertains to bad Uncle Esau stepping up his efforts in this aggressive campaign to besmirch the image of the prophets of the men of the Lord. Okay, calling us black Hebrew Israelites, black extremists, terrorists, anti-Semitic, provokers of hate speech, so on and so forth. You know, I was really meditating on this and thinking about the truth. And it reminded me of a worldly saying that goes as follows. If you lie on me, I'm going to tell the truth on you. And this is what we have in this current time, because as I said before, bad Uncle Esau, he's really pulling all the tricks out of the bag to defamate our character. But in the process of doing so, he's embarrassing himself because he's getting caught up in his own lies. Not only that, through the spirit and power, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, okay, he's made us bold to profess this truth, not only to him, but unto the entire world. And he can't take it. He's doing all this lying, all this deception, all this slander, and it's coming back to backfire on him. Because this truth that the Lord gave us is the most powerful weapon in the entire universe, the spirit and power of his word. And it's a beautiful thing, because when you look at our history, and not only in the biblical days, but in present times, you know, whenever this devil has really gotten out of hand, where he's just said so many foul things, have done so many foul deeds, hey, the Lord has put a heavy judgment on these devils. And so to prove that, we're going to get a little account in the book of Esther. Okay. This is Esther, the 3rd chapter, and I'm going to start at the first verse. I mean, the whole book of Esther is very heavy. I mean, I don't have the time to necessarily go through the whole book, but if you have a chance to read it, it's pretty good. And it goes as follows. Esther, the 3rd chapter, started from the first verse. And it says, after these things did King Artaxerxes promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, who was, and Haman, who should I say? Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite. This person is what you all would call a so-called white man today, or Caucasian. And the reason why I say this, according to the scripture, is because when you trace the lineage of bad Uncle Esau's nation, it starts from the progenitor, bad Uncle Esau himself, and then to the offspring of his concubine, Eliphaz. And after Eliphaz is Amalek. And then after Amalek is Agag. And of course, from that tribe, you have Hammedatha, and then you have Haman, who are also Agagites and Macedonians. And who do we know in the Bible, when you read the book of Maccabees, is also a Macedonian and an Agagite. Alexander the Great, or as I like to call him, Alexander the Snake. All right. One, because he is the seed of the serpent, and two, there was nothing great about him. But nonetheless, this is who this person is in the Bible. Ammon, the son of Amada, the Agagite, is what you all would call a so-called white person or Caucasian today. So let's continue. Now, since we got that straightened out. And advance him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gates bowed and reverenced Haman. For the king had so commanded concerning him, but Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. As Mordecai was a Jake. And verse 3, then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai his matters would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. And because of that, Mordecai knew that Haman was the offspring of bad Uncle Esau, that he was the wicked, he was the devil that the Bible speaks of. Okay? And he had no plans on listening to him or bowing to him, because he knew he was a devil. And too, Mordecai knew who he was. He was a Jake. He knew that he was God's chosen people and he's above them. And there's scripture that supports that too. But let's continue. And it's going to say that here in the next verse, verse 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then Haman was full of wrath. And he thought scorn to lay hand on Mordecai. Let's look at that word scorn. I want to see that word scorn real quick. It said he thought scorn.
Strong's H 959. Baza.
Baza. It says to despise, hold in contempt, disdain, to despise, regard with contempt, to be despised, to be despicable, to be vile, worthless, to cause to despise. It says the primitive root to disesteem, despise, disdain, contemptible, think to scorn, vile person. Okay? Now, what does that remind you of? Bad Uncle Esau, the progenitor, who said, the days of mourning my father are at hand, and then I will utterly slay my brother Jacob. Sounds like the same disdain. So let's continue. And that's the 3rd chapter. And it says, verse 6, and he thought scorn, disdain, serious contempt, to lay hands on Mordecai alone. For they had shown him the people of Mordecai, wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Artaxerxes, even the people of Mordecai. So, because Mordecai didn't bow to him, and they found out that he was an Israelite, Haman in his heart said, you know what? Fuck Haman, fuck his people, kill all them niggas. All right. And so this is what he put into motion. In the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Artaxerxes, they cast that is the lot, before Haman, from day to day and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month Adar. And Haman said unto King Artaxerxes, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people, neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. So what you have going here is this devil, Haman, putting into action a plan to conspire against the Jews or the Israelites. Okay? All because Haman wouldn't bow down to him. And there's another incident in the book that got found out. But I highly advise you to just read that on your own, in your own time, because it's a beautiful story. So now, as I said before, you have Haman setting up a conspiracy to kill the Israelites. So let's continue. It says, if it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have charge of the business to bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it to Amon, the son of Amminadab, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. So all you niggas out there with Stockholm syndrome for this devil, all right, this came out the Holy Scripture, all right. The nation of Esau, Edom, they are your enemy. So what you have here right now, as I said before, Haman set up a conspiracy to kill the Israelites. All right, and how did he set this conspiracy up? By bad-mouthing us. What did he say? He said there's a certain people, there's these guys, these folks over here. They're in the land, and they just kind of do their own thing. They don't bow down to, even if you're their king, they don't bow down to you. They don't want to worship you. They want to do their own thing, and because of this, it wouldn't be in the best thing to, let them live and let you let them have a living in your kingdom. All right, they're a thorn in your side. They'll always do this. So you already have a situation where this devil is bad-mouthing us. All right, making us seem like we're the worst thing that God ever created, and what we do is the worst thing in the world, when actually it's the complete opposite. We are the best thing that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai has created. And the law, statutes, and commandments that we abide by, that he commanded us to do, are the greatest thing that you could ever do in this entire universe. Why? Because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai themselves live up to this elite standard. And because this is an elite standard that they live by and they gave it to us, how much more of a better people that makes us above all other nations. But see, this devil didn't like that. So he had to run this smear campaign to paint us in a bad light. It's the same thing as you got going on today. As the scripture says, I believe it's in Ecclesiastes, there's no new thing under the sun. What do you have here? Oh, well, there was a shooting in a synagogue. Guy comes in a synagogue with a machete. Orthodox Jews walking down the street get beat up. Oh, just so happens that it's tied to a guy that looks bugged out, looks disheveled, hair's not combed, has a beard. He has anti-Semitic writings. He has swastikas in his manifesto, the Star of David in his manifesto. All these things are being done to paint us in a bad light, to set us up so when the time is right, he can just come and kill us. But see, just like the Lord said that in the last days, the Lord's going to lift up a standard against bad Uncle Esau. The Lord did the same thing back then. Okay, he lifted up a standard and delivered us. And see, this is the same thing that's going to happen to bad Uncle Esau. As you read in Galatians, what's that, 6 or 7? Let me get that real quick. Galatians 6 and 7. And it says, be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatever so a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So all this bad mouthing, this slander campaign, all these things to paint you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, particularly the men of the Lord, all right, all this effort and money and time that he's spending to paint us in a bad light, to besmirch our image in front of the world, make us look bad. Hey, the Most High is going to turn the table on this devil. And he's going to be the laughing stock. He's going to be the scourge. He's going to be the one painted in a bad image. Because the Lord is going to have it so. And so when we go back to the book of Esther, we're going to go to the 7th chapter and starting at the first verse. Okay? And this is when the Most High turned the tables on this devil. It says, so the king and Haman came to banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said again to Esther on the second day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed even to the half of the kingdom. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request. For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed. As I said before, when you go back to Genesis, that sounds real familiar, right? I will utterly slay my brother Jacob. Okay, so it says to be slain and to perish. But if we have been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. So she said, if we were going to be slaves, it's like, you know what? Okay, I can deal with that. But there's something in the works that the king is unaware of, where myself and all my people are going to be put to death. And let's continue. Verse 5, it says, then the king Artaxerxes answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he, and where is he that durst presume in his heart to do so? So who is this man that you're telling me is conspiring to kill you and your people? And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked man, this wicked Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and queen. And the king, arising from the banquet of his wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden. So when he found this out, the king had to get his composure. All right, because Esther, when you read the story of Esther, Esther was Esther had to be fine, man, because the book said the king loved her. She was well favored even among his nation of women. And he married her instead of a woman of his own nation, if I remember the story correctly. That's how you know Esther was fine. I mean, utterly fine, man. Same as you got today, man. Israelite women are the finest women on the planet Earth, hands down. Okay? So the affection that the king had for this woman, he's just like, hey, let me know what the deal is. And so when Esther told him, he's just like, whew, I need to get my composure. And so now we have this. It says, and the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden, and Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen, because now this damn devil got found out. He's like, uh-oh. I think the jig is up. You know how Esau always be, how he accuse you, but then once he gets found out, he play the victim. You know, he always wants to be the hero and the villain at the same time. You know, that's damn devil. But nonetheless, it says, and Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen, for he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king. Because remember I said Esther was bad. The king chose her above everybody. He loved this chick. So anything Esther wanted, this king was going to give to her. It says, then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed whereupon Esther was. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house? Because you got to envision this. This nigga spent all this time, when I mean nigga, I mean this devil, bad Uncle Esau. He is the original nigga. All right? You got to think about this scene in your head. This devil spent all this time conspiring against Mordecai because of his own wickedness. Okay, trying to assassinate the king. Like I said, you got to read the story. It's beautiful. All right. And then on top of that, Mordecai not bowing down to him. He set all this stuff up because of these reasons. And then to put in all this work, all this planning, all this manipulating, all this deceit, all this effort that he put in to conspire against God's chosen people to put them to death, it backfired. So now he's like, oh shit. I got to think of something. Let me go plead to the queen. So you got to envision this guy was truly pleading for his life. Like, holy shit, please forgive me. I was wrong. I was just mad at you. You know how bad Uncle Esau, he be begging worse than Keith Sweat when he get found out. Please, Esther, please, baby, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. You know? I mean, this guy was really pleading for his life. And the king saw this like, damn, dude. You conspiring to kill my wife and her people, and then you all up in the room like you about to do something to her? So, here we go. It says, then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house? As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. Most likely, they put that sack on his face and said, come on, nigga, we got something for you. And it says, and Harbona, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold, also the gallows, 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified. Okay? So you have a situation here. This devil, bad Uncle Esau, sought to destroy us so that we may no more be a nation, as it says in Psalm 83. And how did he set this up in the beginning? As I said before, through slander, through bad-mouthing us, making us look like we're the enemy, we're the scourge of the world, like we're the reason why there's chemtrails in the air, we're the reason why the food's messed up, making us seem like we're the reason there's so much hate, why there's so much anti-Semitism, why people are out of control. This is the plan, this is the idea that these devils have constructed to make sure that when the time comes that we're painted in the worst light, so that, hey, it's not really going to be a bad thing when a judgment goes forth. But as you see in the end of this story, this devil got caught up in his own trap. All right, the Lord put his ass in a trick bag. And he didn't even realize it. And that's the same thing today. The Lord got this devil in a trick bag. He's saying all these vile things. He's causing all these false flags to make the men of the Lord seem like terrorists. So that when the day comes where he can finally move in on us, thinking that he has the advantage, the Lord's going to turn the tables. He's going to lift up that standard. And he's going to deliver his people. He's going to deliver his elect. Let me be specific. He's going to deliver his elect. And the thing that Esau sought to do us harm is going to turn around for our good, and it's going to do him harm. Because you better believe, before this whole thing is all said and done with, the Lord is going to fully expose this devil for who he truly is. He is the devil. He is the wicked. He is Satan. All right. He is that serpent of old. He is that seed of the serpent. He is the fucking wicked that the Bible speaks of. And the whole world will know it. And the whole world will remember his deeds and that they were wicked. And they will be glad that such evil will be put out of the earth. And our people, particularly the elect, will be happy and joyous because we have been justified. Our reputations have been clean through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Man, that's going to be a beautiful day when the Lord finally redeems and justifies us from the constant slander and wickedness of this devil. So, wow, 27 minutes. This definitely went on a lot longer than what I expected. But, nonetheless, I hope you brothers were edified. This was just a thought that came to mind, as I've been watching this slander campaign, and if you just so happen to be a Edomite watching this video, hey, keep lying on us, because the more you keep lying on us, we're going to keep telling the truth on you. So with that being said, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. With that, we're going to say shalom.